Hello, welcome back. And today, you've seen this, alright? You've seen the screen before from my last video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a deep dive or analysis on MCC 20's teams. You might be saying, hey Brian, why don't you do this before you predict the teams? And you'd be right, this would have been a really smart idea if I did this before the team predictions. But I'm not a smart person anyway, so let's go. So right now, I have two new players and a new player there. I think for Scar and Elena, I think it's fair to keep it as a new player. I think for Purple, I'm gonna use like a really just a slightly better substitute. I think I'm gonna substitute in whose skill is Purple close to. I think. What if I just substitute in? I don't want to make it like really OP, like, oh yeah, he's not gonna be Dream in his first event. But like, I think he's a. Whose skills does he have? I think in terms of skill wise, I'll put him as a Wisp. Is that fair? Is Wisp fair? Or do I'll put him as like Bad Boy Halo. I think that's a fair judgment call, right? So just like that's gonna be Purple, right? Purple, I think, is in his first event close to Bad Boy Halo. And with that, those are the averages. With what is this one? Last event score. Last event score wise, Lime is horrible, but let's not talk about that. Pink is actually really good by last event score wise. Like, because this is Tommy's like comeback kinda. Connor is Connor. So let's take a deep dive into this thing, okay? So we're not gonna count. We're not gonna all of this doesn't matter. It starts mattering in hole in the wall. So red is actually pretty good in hole in the wall with Sapnap and CPK. I think Sapnap has won several rounds. I don't know if CPK has won a round before, but he's really good at it. Nikki and Aerith might not be as good, but I think Aerith is like pretty decent at it. Nikki might not be, but I think CPK is like a grinder. Like, he's like always like practicing and stuff. So I think he'll be able to teach Nikki and Aerith like a few like tips and tricks in order to like better themselves. This is Bad Boy Halo score, but I'm gonna use it as purples. Of course, Puns has won several rounds before. The fact that CPK's average is higher than Puns says a lot about CPK, huh? And then Purple, I have no idea for sure. Elena, I have no idea for sure. And Puffy, I think is pretty good. I think she gets to like the middle of the pack to fall. And then yellow is Illumina. Illumina's won rounds before. And then SB, I think SB has not won a round, but he's like consistently in like the top like 15. And then False and Ren, middle of the pack. And then Lime. Tapel, I don't think it's that good in hole in the wall. But I think he's also part of the top like 10 probably almost every time. And then like Wilbur, yeah, no. Shovel can be really good in hole in the wall. And Tubbo too. And then green is where Phil is actually amazing at hole in the wall, believe it or not. I think he's won several rounds before. Uh, Ronbu is definitely stepping up his hole in the wall game, with him coming first in like, didn't he come first in MCC like 16 or so? And then Captain Sparkles and Scott aren't that bad in those either. Pete is just amazing at hole in the wall, but the rest of the team, not so much. Like, the majority of this is gonna be, look at fruit. It's gonna be like one person has really good averages, and then the rest is just decent. The majority of the time, it's gonna be that way. I don't think we care about Skyblockle. To get to the other side, Fruitberry should dominate this one. Yes, Tommy's really good. Even Jack is really good in this, but at the same time, 83 for Connor. Yeah. So besides Fruitberry's 397, the second highest is Illumina with 395, which is followed by an amazing performance by SB and False, and then Ren is just behind. The thing is, like, if you look at Red, they consistently have two good scores, like above everyone else, right? Like look at Ace Race, right? Except CPK is really not good in grid runners. And Bad Boy Halo has never played grid runners before, so you have no idea how to measure that. Woo. So basically, looking at this statistic, if Battle Box gets played, this team is strong. This team is strong. This team is actually pretty strong. This team is amazing at it. Although, to be fair, if you look at greens, like, across the board, like, look at this. This is like 1,300 coins in one event, which is Ace Race, right? But you can see who's dominating games. Like, look at Pete's 300s across the board with 400, and also grid runners, but like, who cares? Like, if you look at, what is this, H-Bomb. H-Bomb has a lot of 200s. He has 445 in Bingo But Fast, but we don't care about Bingo But Fast. Fruitberries has a 510 in survival games. Like, a lot of the statistics you'll see, it's not gonna be like indicative of how they'll perform in the tournament. We can't really predict that. For example, MCC 15 Fruitberry's survival games, him with an average of 510, you don't expect him to lava bucket himself to death, right? There's no way to know how good people will do in the actual event, but the statistics show that the majority of the teams have one player that's just dominating across all games, right? Like Illumina 530 in Ace Race, or Punts 445 in Ace Race, or Pete 482, or Quig 480, or Fruit 435, you know? Like, let's change the game order, right? Because, like, this is not going to be the game order for the actual tournament. If parkour tag is skipped, right? Like, blue score, like, you can see parkour tag, right? Preston and Quig are, like, in the top 5, but their score didn't even reach, like, quadruple digits, right? They have 4 teams that are better than them in everything. And I looked at, if this is the game order, I looked at my prediction from yesterday. Well, today for me, since like a few minutes ago. It seems that I completely overrated the Cyan Coyotes. But that's because I have Parkour Tag and Grid Runners here. If Parkour Tag is changed for like Battle Box, then Cyan is even lower, right? But it changes the entire dynamic based on the games that were played. So if let's say Sky Battle is played first, Grid Runners played second, Hole in the Wall is played third. And then to get to the other side, Ace Race is played here. Build Mart. No, Sands of Time. Build Mart Survival Games. Cyan will come 7th. Green Gecko is undisputed first. And Aqua will come 2nd. Which Aqua I predicted to came 7th. In my thing, right? In my predictions. So there's really a lot of diversity. There's a lot of different stats that could happen now. Could happen in the event. Fruit apparently has the individual leaderboards. So I don't know. No one knows. H-Bomb and Antfrost now is in the top 10, right? Every single thing that I predict could be wrong. Depending on what happens in the event, right? If let's say, they want to play survival games early and survival games is played here. Right? They want to play survival games early, Sands of Time, Build Mart. And then what did I replace? Ace Race? If they want to play Ace Race Game 8, who knows? And if that's the case, then Yellow is now 3rd. 300 points behind 2nd. If they're actually, we want survival games even earlier. He wants to get to the other side here. Ace Race there. Build Mart and then Sands of Time. Then it's a way different scenario. Because now Cyan's in 5th. And Red's in 8th. You know? It really depends on the game. It depends on everything else, right? They're really good at all these games, but it doesn't matter if they don't get played, or if they get played early, or if they get played late. It matters a lot, right? So overall, a deep dive is that the conclusion of this deep dive is that no matter what team you're rooting for, as long as they're not green, they have a chance for 2nd place. And green will always be first because apparently their average is just that good, right? No, you can see from all of that game order stuff that I just talked about that green will always be first. But besides green, your team has a chance for 2nd. And if you're rooting for orange, it's fine because I'm undermining your team with adding Bad Boy Halo and a new player. Who knows how good they'll be in the actual event? I don't. You don't. And no one does until the event actually happens, right? So we'll see when the time comes. I'll stream an MCC waiting room. We'll react to the update video when it comes out. And next week, I think I'll be doing another deep dive of the teams, seeing which games they'll be good at. I'm hoping there will be some practice streams this week so we can review that if need be. But overall, that's about it. Peace out. See y'all later.